What is going on, guys? Thanks for tuning into the 100th episode
Woo!
of the Three Peaks Fitness Podcast.
Yeah, yay, applause.
100 episodes. Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It's amazing. It's a big milestone for us.
It is a big milestone. And just so you guys know, later on in this episode, we have a big milestone announcement.
This is life-changing.
Yes, literally.
This is life-changing. So you want to
Yes.
stay tuned for this announcement.
Yes, you want to stay tuned.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's the 100th episode. So we were trying to think about, okay, what can we do to make this special?
Yeah.
Right? Because that's no easy feat.
Yeah.
Right? And so Lynette and I, we were just talking about what we could do to make it special. And we're like, why don't we kind of cover the entire timeline of progressive athletics, past, present, and future, where the gym is headed.
Okay. And this applies to our listeners because it's important that you know how your coach came to be the kind of coach they are. What influences your coach? So even if you don't come to our gym, will give you an idea of what to ask your coach.
Yeah.
Like how did you come to, what are you influenced by?
Right.
And what was your journey like, so that you know what you're being trained by. The student needs to know the master.
That's right.
Yeah. So,
Wax on, wax off.
yeah, Luke needed to know what Yoda was all about. So
yeah. Cool. Yeah, well, it's, being the person who started progressive athletics, I'll kind of get into it with my origin story. So July 16th, 1991, I was born. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not starting that far back.
Oh, wow.
My origin story with starting the gym. So after I graduated college, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. Didn't have a real clear direction, but I played football my whole life. I knew how to work out, and so the natural kind of...
Wait, hold on, pause.
Oh.
What was your major in college?
Religious studies.
Yes.
I was a religious studies major.
There we go.
So you
didn't want to be a priest?
Not a whole lot of career opportunities for that. But I knew how to work out, knew how to exercise, and so I was like, okay, I'll just be a personal trainer.
Yeah.
So got certified, became a personal trainer, started working with people, started off working at LA Fitness.
Yeah.
That was my first gig as a trainer. And that was okay. It was definitely a good foot in the door, but it was like, they're just all about numbers there. You know what I mean? Like it's a big commercial gym, so they just push you sell more. It wasn't really about the people.
So they wanted you to run around and just recruit people to do personal training rather than just come to the gym and work out on their own?
Yeah, like it wasn't really a good you could tell that they didn't really care like a whole lot about the people.
Okay.
And so I wasn't there for very long. I was there for like a little under a year.
Okay.
Before I started working at another small boutique one-on-one studio, place called Fitness Together.
Okay.
In Ellicott City, and I enjoyed that. And at Fitness Together, actually, that's where I met one of the other trainers there. His name was Harris.
Okay.
And Harris and I, we worked there for probably a little over a year. Or so. And probably around like the year mark, we got to talking. We were like, "Hey, man, like we're young, we're single, we don't have any kids. Like, why don't we just try to do our own thing?"
Cool.
And we literally went to a Starbucks one day, and it's funny thinking about it now because at the time, we didn't know anything about business. And we're sitting there drawing a business plan and we're gonna do this and but we knew nothing about business. We're just 23-year-old.
You're seizing the day, though. We're
seizing the day. We're going for it, and it was exciting. But because we were young, we didn't have any money.
Right.
No bank's going to give us a loan. So we're like, well, we want to have our own gym. We always wanted to have our own physical space.
Okay.
But we just didn't have the funds for it. And we weren't Jeff Bezos. We couldn't get $500,000 from our parents. So as an alternative, what we did is we decided we were just going to do in-home personal training, mobile personal training.
Okay.
So We bought a few kettlebells, a few resistance bands. A couple of resistance bands are still here at
Oh
the
my
gym
gosh.
to this day, actually. I think the yellow ones,
Oh, wow.
a couple of them are still here.
Wow.
And the kettlebells we just got rid of. But yeah, so we would lug kettlebells and resistance bands around people's houses in Howard County and train them there.
Wow.
And we did that for about 2 years in order to save up enough money to move into this spot. We ended up, I think, saving up like about $40,000.
Okay.
And so we're like, yeah, 40,000, that should be fine. Because again, we didn't know anything about this. 40, yeah, that sounds good. That'll be totally fine. That'll be good for the build out, and we'll be able to pay ourselves for a few months before and then but after a few months, like we'll be rolling in the dough. So like, we totally were.
It's
optimistic.
laughable now,
I know,
isn't it?
Yeah. So so in December, or I guess no, it'd be like October of 2017 is when we started to kind of like shop around and look for places. We looked at a couple places, and actually the second to last place we looked at was right down the road, closer to the Chick-fil-A.
Oh.
I don't know if you remember, there was like an open unit that just got a tenant, like I think this year. It was like there was no one there it was like 1,500 square feet.
Huh.
Because our idea was to do semi-private training.
Okay.
So really small groups.
Mm-hmm.
Each person has their own program. So we didn't need like a huge warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
And so the guy we met there, his name is John Sindler. He's like a commercial broker guy, like in the area. And we're like, I don't know. The ceilings were kind of low. You need higher ceilings.
Yeah.
It just didn't feel right. He was like, oh, well, I got a place. And he showed us this place that we're sitting in right now.
Oh.
Which we hadn't, it wasn't on the websites and stuff, but he's like, he knows this world. So he's like, how about this spot? And it actually used to be a Verizon store. So,
I remember I was a customer here when it was a Verizon store.
Yeah. And it's funny because up until like a year or two ago, people would drive up, they'd pull right up, and you could always tell they were looking for Verizon because they'd pull up, their car was still on, they'd sit in the car, they might pull out, do another lap around the entire building, like looking confused, and then they'd pull back in. And then sometimes, like half of them would come up to the door and be like, where's the Verizon store? And I have to tell them, like, oh, it's down on Route 40. But anyway.
It still happens like once or twice a year.
It does, yeah. But yeah, so it used to be a Verizon store. So it looked way different. There were like rooms everywhere because they had like server rooms and stuff for equipment and stuff like that. So it looked way different. But it had the 10-foot ceilings, which was really important.
Okay.
So, and we knew like, hey, we're turning this into a gym. So all we needed to do was demo a bunch of stuff. So our contractor just like tore everything down except for the bathrooms. And we actually he basically tore everything down and painted, and then we installed like the rubber flooring and put together the equipment and stuff like that. And then we opened officially in January of 2018.
Okay.
So, yeah, that takes us to 2018 where we're open, and we it's funny, we you're nervous, you're scared, you're like, oh man, now I got a lease payment to make, and bills to pay. And we opened January 2018, and on like January, I want to say it was like January 3rd, 2nd or 3rd, or something like that. It was like right after New Year's. We got the phone rang, and it was our very first client that didn't come over from the in-home training, because we had a couple clients come over from in-home training. It was our first client. It was Bob. And so we
Bob
spoke
Woodward.
with Bob. Yep, Bob, the man. So he called, and we were like, yeah, business is so easy. Like we're already getting calls. We just build it and they will come. Yeah. Like we were so pumped. And then we did get another client for like a month.
Whoa.
A month or two. And it was Joe. Joe was like, was like our second client, since we opened up.
Okay.
But yeah, so we were just like grinding. We were like canvassing neighborhoods and getting doors slammed in our face. And, one guy, we weren't trying to sell anything. We're just like, hey, we're just spreading the word. Like we just opened up down the street. If you ever need a trainer, you're looking to get back into it, here's our card. And man, people didn't like that.
No.
People do not like that, but you got to do what you got to do. So and then in May of 2018, unfortunately, Harris did end up passing away.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really crazy, like roller coaster moment, because it's kind of like you.
Yeah.
It's what I imagine, people who go through a divorce might experience, or just losing a loved one, right? You're looking, you see the future with this person, and
you
then
had
you're
this
like,
whole picture of how it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And wait, what?
Yeah, you're like, what?
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Yeah, that was crazy. And then
in the middle of all that, you have to keep running the business.
Yeah, had to keep running the business, but to be honest, it was kind of like, it was definitely hard, but it was like a welcome distraction in a sense that like it kept me. I don't think I would have done as well if I was just sitting at home, like just sitting there thinking about everything.
Forced you to
get
up every day
and be in it, and being in the gym. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was healing in a way.
Okay.
So that was in May, and then the rest of 2018, we saw some like pretty good growth because we implemented the infamous 6-week challenge.
Yes.
So people were coming in. And so for those of you that don't know, the 6-week challenge is basically a challenge where you come in and you put your money where your mouth is, right? So you pay $500.
Yeah.
And if you lose 20 pounds in 6 weeks, then you get your money back. So you get 6 weeks of training and nutrition for free. And it was great. And people got a ton of success, and people really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's how I started out.
That's how you started out.
Yeah, I came in August of 2018.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then, so Lynette came on board in August of 2018. Looked a little different.
It did. Looked a lot different.
Yeah. You were about, you lost, how much? You lost like
70
okay.
pounds.
So,
70 pounds.
So yeah, Lynette was about 70 pounds heavier. But she was motivated. She was determined.
So, I mean, I don't want to get off the subject, but I did other things in addition to that 6-week challenge that helped me not gain it back. So that's just an important little side note. Like most of the people that did the 6-week challenge gained the weight back, but I didn't because of some other things I did that I can mention later. So,
So moving on to kind of like 2019-ish, early 2019, maybe mid 2019. It kind of came to this. I kind of came to this realization, like, hey, it's great. It's getting people active and motivated, and they're getting results. But it's not. It was called a 6-week challenge. It wasn't called 6-week lifestyle. And I was having a hard time getting people to understand. Like, this was just kind of like to get you going, right? Like, we don't. This isn't sustainable. This is not.
So people were trying to eat that way forever, and when they couldn't eat that exact way, the food program, when they couldn't keep that up for 6-12 months, they were feeling defeated.
They were feeling defeated, which no one can. It's not. It was never meant to be a long-term thing. It's not possible to eat that way for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And exercise every single day and stuff like that. So like 2019 made the tough decision to move away from that because it just wasn't as much as I would try to coach people up and kind of steer them in another direction. I didn't want the gym to be a 6-week challenge gym, like a revolving door. I want people to come and get sustainable long-term results.
Yeah.
And then in 2019 is when, I think towards the end of 2019 is when I first mentioned to you, I was like, hey, have you ever thought about training?
November 2019.
It was November 2019. Yeah. And so if you guys are wondering how Lynette got involved, that's kind of how it happened, is just after class or before class one day or whatever. I was just like, hey, have you ever thought about training? Cause
personal trainer. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause Lynette was super motivated. Obviously she got amazing results, and she has the personality for it. And she, was just super, super, I knew she was going to be an amazing trainer. And so I just asked her, and she was like, what'd you say?
I was like, for 2 months before you asked me that question, I kept having thoughts of, man, I really think I would want to be a personal trainer, but I could never do that.
Yeah.
I don't think I could. I was, I don't think I could learn all the science that you have to learn and do all the math that would be required. And just, there was a lot of the learning curve.
Yeah.
I didn't think I could overcome the learning curve. So I was just a ton of self-doubt.
Yeah.
So this is internal war with myself.
Yeah.
And I hadn't told anybody, no one in my family, no one knew what was going on. And so then you turned to me that day after the workout. It's like, hey, have you ever thought about being a personal trainer? And
Yeah.
I said, yes, I've been thinking about that, but I don't know how to do that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. And so, yeah, you guided me through the whole process.
Yeah. And then, because you were kind of it was like you were getting certified, and then we decided on kind of like an internship type of deal to start out so you could get experience.
Yeah.
Leading into 2020.
Yes.
And then March 2020, what happens?
The shutdown.
Pandemic.
The shutdown.
I think wasn't it like right as you were about to start the internship?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hadn't actually taken the test yet.
Yeah.
I had scheduled the test. I was studying. And then the shutdown hit.
Then the shutdown hit, yeah. And we were closed for 2 months.
Yeah,
Closed for
terrible.
2 months, yeah.
It was terrible.
So we had to figure out, we had to pivot to the online thing and just try to figure out ways to keep people engaged. We did online classes, which we're not an online gym, that's not our thing. So that was really interesting. And that was tough. Oh man, that was tough. That was we ended up losing probably when it was all said and done, 60 to 70% of all of our members.
I can't believe it was more than, it could have been more.
It might have been more.
It should have been
I
more.
don't remember the
I can't believe
number.
you retained anybody.
I know, yeah, because we're literally shut down, and to everyone's credit, they try to stick it out, but it's not what they signed up for. So it's everyone's scared and stuff like that. So yeah, that was a scary moment.
Yeah, and then for a while we were working out with masks on in the gym.
And people didn't like that, understandably.
It was tough, but there are athletes that do that.
Yeah.
To get ready for races at high elevations.
Yeah.
So it's not unheard of to work out with a mask on. It's just not what we wanted to do.
Right. Especially our demographic is we don't have any
We're not
super athletes.
We're not going to go run a marathon on Mount Everest.
Right.
But hey, that's what we trained for.
Yeah, that's what we trained for.
We were ready.
Yeah. And as stressful as it was, it ended up being a blessing because it when everyone came back, remember, so when businesses were allowed to reopen, you still had, social distancing and the masks and all that stuff. And so we kind of created an InPlace workout concept.
You had totally revamped the training program here.
Yeah.
When we got back in there, because I think before the pandemic, it was, if I remember correctly, the workouts were planned the night before or the week before. Mm-hmm. And then they were just put on the board.
Yeah.
And you had one of the trainers do it. But then when we came back, you had mapped out this whole program. It was amazing.
Yeah. It was, we tried to, during the 2 weeks where everything was shut down, there was a lot of free time.
Yeah.
And so I used that free time. And Jackie actually was really helpful with it. What we did is during the shutdown, when we were closed down, Jackie, Brett, and I would come in here and test all the workouts to see okay, when we open, what is this going to look like? Is this going to work? How's this going to look?
Started getting more scientific with the workouts. Yeah.
Started getting more scientific and trying to create a workout that would be more appealing, had more thought behind it in a small group setting. Mm-hmm. Because prior to the shutdown, we're just kind of group training. It was kind of like a group, boot camp. Yeah. We even had two classes. We had boot camp and we had tribe. Tribe was more like the strength.
Yeah,
stuff.
the weightlifting was one class. And then body weight boot camp was a separate class.
Yeah. So during the pandemic, it was okay, how can we make the most effective workout in a small group setting? So that's what we worked on during the shutdown. And then, when we reopened, that's what we introduced. And, it wasn't without its, issues. Looking back on it, it's kind of funny to look at it now where we are now. Looking back, it's funny. Then going into 2021, we did the same format.
Yeah.
New workouts, improved
Right.
workouts in by this time.
And then you had added racks because we started
Yeah.
out with 2 racks, and you started adding racks, and now everyone had their own rack.
Right. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you could really do like an in-place.
So the quality of the workouts went way up.
Yep.
Went
Yeah.
way up. Now everyone, like, one of the biggest problems in a gym, when you pay for a gym that just gives you access to equipment, is waiting for equipment, waiting
Yeah.
for a squat rack.
Yep.
How many people are like, oh, I hope there's a squat rack
I know.
available?
Yeah.
You just walk in, you pick one, you have it.
Yeah.
So efficient.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. To know, oh, when I come in, I'm going to have a rack. And
yeah, it's not. Yeah, you don't have to worry about.
Yeah.
All the equipment I need is right there. So, but yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention. So then you started. I guess when we opened back up is when we started the internship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you did that for.
It was 150 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you did that for a while, and then you went live. Do you remember? I'm sure you remember the day you went live. Do you remember the date? The day you officially became a trainer.
Yeah, I was so nervous.
What was that like?
I was like, oh, I'm unlocking the gym. I'm here by myself. I'm in charge of people. I hope no one has a heart attack. It was fun. It was terrifying, but it was fun.
Yeah.
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 So fun.
And now it's nothing.
So a huge confidence booster. You know, it's like, oh, can I correct form? Am I qualified to do that?
Yeah.
You know?
Little imposter syndrome.
Oh,
yeah.
a ton of imposter. Like, oh, I used to be a peer with them.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to tell them what to do. Are they going to do what I say? And
yeah.
oh yeah.
I used to get that so bad because, especially when I first started training imposter syndrome, because when I first started, I was like 22 years old. And I was still training people who were like in their 50s. So I'm like telling people who are like my parents' age what to do. I had the worst imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Still do sometimes. But,
yeah.
Anyway, so Lynette comes on board.
Yeah. June of 2020.
Yeah. And what was that? What would you say? What was that overall experience? Not just starting out, but the overall experience like over your first 4, 5, 6 months. What was that like for you?
I loved it. It was so fun. I'm like, yes, I love this. And about 2 months into it, so this would be June, July, around August of 2020, it just hit me. I'm like, exercise is not enough. It's important, right? It's non-negotiable. We need exercise. But then I realized they need more.
Mm-hmm.
They need more than this.
Yeah.
So that's when I came to you and said, I think I need to get some kind of nutrition certification. Which is funny because, getting the personal training certification was huge for me. Yeah. Like it was a huge learning curve. It's like, oh, nutrition, that's even going to be more chemistry, more nerd stuff.
Yeah.
So you steered me in the direction of a really great company, Precision Nutrition. They've had a huge influence on how I coach, how I approach everything in the gym. It ended up influencing what we do today.
Yeah.
Our whole approach to coaching people.
Yeah, precision nutrition is really cool because it's based on cognitive behavioral therapy. It's not cognitive behavioral therapy. It's not just like, okay, here's your meal plan.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this is what you need to eat.
Right. It's like it's meeting people where they are.
Yeah.
It's working on not just nutrition. It's working on sleep, stress, like it works on the wellness of the entire person.
All with the packaging of how do you change behavior and keep it going?
Right.
Because that's the hardest part, is changing behavior in the face of a busy life.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So that's the biggest obstacle for everybody.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that, as opposed to a lot of people that are in the nutrition world that all they know is the science of what you should or shouldn't eat. Knowing behavior change is even more important than that.
Yeah.
Is how to change behavior.
Yeah.
So that bled into how to help people train more often, how to get them to show up for workouts. Like, it influenced everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the ever since Lynette got certified with Precision Nutrition, that's just been really, it's kind of been a more so recently, but we've tried to really make it like a package deal, right? So like you have your workouts. Yeah. But that's only 1 hour of the day. The other 23 hours. And so we've really worked on kind of bringing it all together. Hey, like this program includes obviously your workouts, but the coaching aspect outside the gym as well, nutrition, sleep habits, stress, all that good stuff. And that kind of got us thinking like, okay, like what's the next step of evolution
Yes.
to the PA
Yeah, that brings
program.
us to what? March of 2022.
Yeah, March of 2022, where we
Yeah.
there was a really good gym business coach that I had been following for years, actually, even since the in-home days. He was putting out stuff,
Yeah.
and I always liked what he said. He was very you could tell he knew what he was talking about, and he had his own gym. Like, he wasn't just, some guru, like, this is how you do it. Like, he actually owned his own gym.
He was in the trenches.
Yeah. And so we set up a call with him. His name's Stu Brower. He's really awesome. And he was really helpful in guiding us through the creative process, if you will, in creating like a fully fleshed out kind of like mission, vision, that you can see in the actual workouts themselves.
He helped us rethink the workouts again.
And again.
And then rethink how we do our marketing.
Everything.
And it's like, well, what is your gym mission? What is your focus? Oh, we don't know.
And so he was super helpful. We worked with him throughout a good portion of 2022. Kind of creating, and that's kind of what led to the creation of what we have now. Right.
We call it 3 Peaks Training. But you and I got together, we said, most of our clients work at a desk. How can we solve some problems for them?
Right.
Because in reality, if you work at a desk all day and then you try and go do a really hard workout in the gym with like heavy weights, that's a problem because you're going from one extreme to the other. So we were trying to figure out, how do we create a workout that heals the body and builds it up and addresses all the special issues when you have to sit all day. Right. We're all told not to sit, but sometimes you have to do your job. So how can we help them?
Right. And not only that, the post-pandemic malaise.
It was worse after the pandemic.
The allostatic load. People were, what we noticed as coaches, people were getting more and more burnt out way more easily than before the pandemic.
People were giving up so easily.
So easily.
No mental resilience.
And so, instead of just kicking and screaming, being like, just do it, like, what is wrong? It was like, okay, how can we craft a workout that is going to cater to not only like the, mobility and posture issues that come with working a desk job, but also is not going to like overtax them.
The energy level.
If your stress is like through the roof, it's not beneficial to come into a gym and like, run yourself into the ground doing burpees. So your workout needs to be complementary to the rest of your life, not the other way around.
And that's how we came up with 3 Peaks Training.
That's how we came up with 3 Peaks Training.
So cool.
And so that's what we've been. We launched it January of this year, 2023, and everyone loves it so far.
It's been good.
It's been really good.
It's been amazing, and it's still evolving. We're always learning. Like it's never quote unquote perfect. We're always learning, adjusting to the needs of our clients. But it's been a fantastic system for addressing, and people right away. Within 3 months, people were saying that their shoulders were feeling better because we had a lot of clients with shoulder impingements or stiff shoulders from, keyboarding all day long. And so we started including more hanging and more pulling to strengthen the upper back and strengthen the shoulders and remodel the shoulder bones. And within 3 months, we had 3 clients specifically come to us and say, oh my gosh, the impingement's gone, the pain's gone. My shoulder's looser. Like, it was healing their bodies. It was doing what it's designed to do. Coming in to do a workout. So like the workout is almost like physical therapy. Well,
we'll get to that in a second. the incorporation of physical therapy. So we kind of, over the last few years, or since 2018 up to this point, it's definitely been an interesting evolution. And sometimes you reach a point in the journey where it's time to hand off the baton.
Yes. So, is this the announcement?
This is the announcement.
This is the big announcement. All right, drum roll. Time to pass the baton. What are we doing, Mark?
So, Effective. Well, if you're listening to this, effective now,
Yeah.
because this will come out next week. I am selling the business, Progressive Athletics, to Lynette. Lynette is going to be the new owner of Progressive Athletics.
All right.
And I can think of no better person to pass the torch to. You're going to do a fantastic job, and I'm really excited to see.
Yes. I'm both
what you do.
terrified and excited.
That's understandable, but you'll be fine. You're terrified and excited just like you were
Just
when you
like
got certified.
every step of the way. I tell you, ever since, the whole process of getting into the health and fitness industry has been one long string of being uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Every step of the way, I'm like, oh, this is so uncomfortable, but it's so beneficial.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh, I like myself much better than I did five years ago. This is amazing.
Yeah.
But it's been uncomfortable the whole time.
Yeah. Well, it's going to keep getting uncomfortable.
I know, it's going to get more uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable,
but
but
it's
doable.
amazing.
But
yeah.
doable.
But like we were saying, there's so many parallels between running a business and a fitness journey.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
like what you were talking about when you first started in January 18 in the brick and mortar, you and Harris, and then suddenly Harris passes away. It's like, oh, this is not how I thought it would go.
Yeah.
That happens every time someone engages in a change in their health and fitness.
Yeah.
Like they want to, like, oh, I'm going to change what I eat, or I'm going to change my activity level. And they imagine, oh, well, I'm going to do this 3 times a week. And, there's always an interruption.
Yeah, there's always something.
Some of them are happy interruptions and some of them are not happy, but there will always be an interruption and there will always be discomfort and there will always be self-doubt.
Yeah.
So our journey in this gym it entails all the things that you will experience as you engage in changes.
Yeah.
So all those things will happen.
Yeah. There's a really good quote I love by John Maxwell. He's a guy he writes a bunch of leadership books. But one of the quotes that he always says is, anything worthwhile is uphill all the way. And it's true.
Yeah.
Anything worthwhile.
Yeah.
It's going to be challenging.
Yeah.
And there'll be breaks, but generally, it's going to be uphill all the way.
Yeah.
And fitness is no different. Like getting in shape, changing a lifetime of habits is it's not going to happen at the snap of your fingers.
Right. Especially if you come from a background that they didn't eat a variety of foods and there wasn't a ton of activity.
Yeah.
You might feel like, well, that's, it's just not, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You can still do it.
Yeah.
Right? There's a learning curve and you're going to experience all the self-doubt and the interruptions, but there's no reason why you can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope. Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
So that's cool. All right. So big announcement there.
Yeah.
So what does the future of PA hold? I guess that's up to me.
That's up to you.
Oh my gosh.
What do you got?
All right. This is what I have planned. So I feel so honored to take on this baby of yours, this beautiful baby we call Progressive Athletics. And I think there's just been a lot of destiny involved in here. But I want to continue the evolution that you've been taking this gym through. So I want this to become Howard County's best physio gym. Yes, we're going to continue to help people lose weight because that's important to them and to us, that they feel and look their best. But we want to continue to improve the workouts and what they do with the other 23 hours a day so that the bodies heal from our modern lifestyle. We are constantly fighting all the damage that our modern lifestyle does to our bodies and our minds.
Yeah.
So we want this to be a physio gym. So it's going to be more than just getting sweaty. It's going to build and heal the body. And I also have been doing a lot of study in longevity, how to live better and live longer and more vibrant. So I've been looking at medical stuff, physical stuff, biomechanics, all the nerd stuff. So if you don't have time to read all the books, it's okay. I've been doing it. I am always reading a health book. So, and then I use it in the business. So I've been looking into that. So we're in 2024, we're going to be introducing some new stuff to even take it up, always elevating.
Yes.
Take it up to the next level.
Yep.
So exciting things coming in 2024. My mission, or our mission. Mark is going to stick around. He'll still have his foot in the door helping me out.
You might see me around.
He's going to continue to mentor me. He'll be, my Yoda for a while. But we're gonna continue to elevate and educate, elevate, and create.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna educate first. So I'm gonna try and pass on what I'm learning. So to help you untangle all the mixed messages that we're getting in the health and fitness industry. That was one of the first things that I noticed when I got into this industry. I thought it was going to be all, unicorns and rainbows. I mean, a month in, and I started to see something that I didn't see before. So my whole life, didn't realize that a lot of the marketing is just bogus science.
Yeah.
And didn't realize, oh, wait, no, that diet's not good. That's, and dieting at all isn't good. And, oh, that workout really isn't that valuable. It's just getting you sweaty. It's not going to do much for you. Or that piece of exercise equipment, not great, So starting to see everything. I'm starting to see all the con artists out there in the health and fitness industry. So I want to help my gym members be able to untangle all that and not fall victim and be able to see what is truth and what is just a marketing tactic.
Yeah.
So I want to help educate people, empower them with education. And then I want to help elevate people. So a lot of us, including myself, have been getting caught into this cycle of, I'm going to do something, I'm going to do this. This is it. I'm changing right now. And then, after a few weeks, it's not working. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I used to exercise. Just that merry-go-round. So I want to help elevate you where you're able to be resilient and continue through the interruptions and the self-doubt and all those things that can happen and continue to elevate yourself. And, the journey is not linear, right? You're going to have some dips, but be able to keep going so that you can elevate your life and always be able to do something and adjust with those changes. Then the last part of my mission is to help you create a life you love, right? And so be able to, when you elevate an area of your life, the other areas benefit too. And so when you come into the gym and you learn how to work through discomfort, now in the other areas of your life, you're able to tolerate discomfort a little bit better. Your brain is learning to kind of endure that. And hey, it's not the end of the world if your heart rate goes up. It's not the end of the world if your muscles are burning. That translates to other areas of your life. Learning to set boundaries is an important thing because that's a number one reason why people can't make it to their workouts is because some other demand came in and they gave into it. So, just learning. So you're going to have to learn to set boundaries so you can carve out that time for yourself. So I want you to be able to create a life that you love through the things that you learn by coming to the gym and the skills that you learn in our Healthy Habits program. It's all one package. So anyway, that's what we're working on for the future of PA.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm excited. I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yes.
It's going to be amazing. The clients are going to love it.
Yeah.
Going to get results. Going to not just get results on an individual basis, but the mission that Lynette has now is so great because it's going to be healing to the community, to not just people who come here, right? But because you have the educate aspect, right? Now people who come here are able to go and educate others.
Yeah.
So it's really, really cool. It's a mission that's bigger than just the gym.
Yeah.
And that's fantastic.
Bigger than just a workout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more than just a workout.
It is a mission.
Tagline. No.
More than just a workout. There we go. We have a tagline. Woo! Cool.
Cool. Yeah.
Sweet.
So that's PA for past, present,
and
future. Big news. Lynette's she's carrying the torch into the future. It's gonna be amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very excited.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, guys. That was our 100th episode. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and we will see you next time.
All right. Bye.